Unit 4, Social Movements and their Political Implication. Social movements have been taking place since 6th century BC. Buddha, Basavanna, Kanakadasa, Jyotiba Phule, Periyar, Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar contributed to fight against caste-based discrimination. They adopted major steps to remove such caste and gender-based discrimination. Democratic principles. So these democratic principles such as rule of law, freedom of press, respect of human rights, active political process and enlightened citizen or a knowledgeable citizen. So these democratic principles helped Baba Sahib Ambedkar to organize and educate the depressed and oppressed classes like scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and OBCs, that is other backward classes. How? By giving a call, educate, agitate, organize, have a faith in yourself. So this Dr. B.R. Ambedkar tried to inculcate or fix necessary strength to fight against injustice. Though India being a multi-religious country, groups like Dalits, backward classes, peasants, laborers, feminists, human rights activists and environmentalists are continuing agitation by a meaningful and democratic way. Rights of the people are well secured by the Constitution of India, though it provides a golden remedy for the problems of the nation. A suitable machinery is required to implement them in proper way. Hence, different groups are fighting for their demands through different movements. So let's see the first social movement, that is Dalit movement. Dalits are those who are economically, socially, educationally, culturally exploited. These Dalits include untouchables or panchamas. The movement is an offshoot or the main cause of the inhuman incident or ongoing exploitation. As you have heard in previous chapter, Varnashrama Dharma was based on the designated work categorized into the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. So over the period of time, this in the sense Varnashrama Dharma, including Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas and Shudra, was transformed into rigid and complex system. Rigid means not able to change and it was too complex. This created cleavage. Cleavage means split in the society. Again comes distinction and division in Hindu society. This also led to the creation of class called Panchamas at the lowest run. So the Panchamas were subjected to socio-economic, political oppression and suppression. So this strata or this part of the society was recognized as Dalits, which includes Adi Karnataka, Adi Dravida, Adi Andhra, Adi Jambhava, Adi Mahar and the like. The main thing, birth, became the criteria to identify one's caste. Over centuries, they were not even allowed to appear in front of caste Hindus. Even after utilizing the service of Dalits and exploiting to the core, they were not allowing them to use public utilities like wells, ponds, temples, etc. Looking at prevailing inhuman situation, many philosophers or reformers struggle hard to create awareness to eradicate or remove the evils plaguing or blocking Indian society. Gopalaswamy Iyer, Kudmal Rangarao, Ram Manohar Lohia, Baba Amte, Kanshi Ram, Professor B. Krishnappa and many more have dedicated their lives to the cause. These great humans laid the firm foundation for Dalit emancipation or liberation. So let's see what are the causes of Dalit movement. Number 1. Social injustice. As per the law of nature, all men are born equally, but in practice, equal treatment and equal opportunities were denied. Exploitation in society was widespread. To get these legitimate rights or legal rights and opportunities, they were rebelled or rise in the position under the leadership of many reformers, which took the form of movement against the injustice. Number 2. Economic inequality. Dalits work in the lands of caste Hindus and were responsible for the wealth of feudalist upper caste. In spite of it, They were treated inhumanly. These Dalits were treated inhumanly and were not given proper share. Hence, the position was pathetic or very sad. Adding to this, they were the victim of exploitation. Atrocities means cruelty, harassment means pressure, and other heinous or crime acts. This was exploited in the form of agitation. 3. Discrimination. Discrimination was rampant or uncontrolled in all walks of life. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar himself was a victim of such discrimination. When Dalits were not allowed to enter into the temple, he, means Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, was dared or courage to make entry into the Kalaram temple of Nasik against all opposition with his fellow beings. He publicly, means Dr. B.R. Ambedkar publicly used the water of Mahat tank. With this, he started democratic struggle against discrimination to attain social equality. This became a stepping stone for Dalit movement. 4. Lack of awareness. Dalits were deprived of education facilities which led to lack of awareness. Hence, exploitation atrocities mounted up. That means the rate of crimes gradually increases. To create awareness, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar started a paper, Mukanayaka, and to get relief of such situation. So, there exists a movement like Bahishkrit Hitakarni Sabha 1924, Dalit Panther Movement 1972, Dalit Sangharsh Samiti 1974, and many more were cropped up or happen or occur. Number 5. Political backwardness. Basically, Dalits were away from political participation, decision-making process due to denial or lack of opportunities. Social boycott, exploitation, subordination, that means inferiority, were responsible to political backwardness. To come out of these barriers, Dalits were forced to organize agitations and protests which finally converted into movements. Political implication of Dalit movement. Dalit movement is named as Dalit Andolan in Karnataka, Asprusya Untouchable Andolan in Maharashtra, Adi Dravida Andolan in Tamil Nadu, Puliya Andolan in Kerala, Adi Dharma Andolan in Punjab, and Namasudra Andolan in West Bengal. As a result of Dalit movements, in post-independence period, several measures were taken to improve the position of Dalits. Constitution of India provided many provisions for the upliftment of Dalit and bringing them to the mainstream. Many rights have been incorporated or formed into legal to empower Dalits. Let's see these constitutional provisions. Number 1. Equality before law in Article 14 of the Constitution. Number 2. Prohibition of discrimination on the basis of caste. That's included in Article 15 of 1 and 2. Number 3. Special provisions for advancement or development of any socially and educationally backward classes of citizens or scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. That's in Article 15(4). Number 4. Equality of opportunity in matters of public employment and right to reservation in appointment and promotion. Article 16. Number 5. Abolition of untouchability. Article 17. Number 6. The state shall strive or make a great effort to promote welfare of the people, minimize inequalities in income and eliminate inequalities in status, facilities and opportunities. That's in Article 38. Number 7. The state shall direct its policy towards securing right to adequate means of livelihood. That's in Article 39A. 8. Promotion of educational and the economic interest of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes and protecting them from social injustice and all forms of exploitation. Article 46. Number 9. Reservation of seats for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, local self-government. Article 243D and 243T. This we have studied in previous chapter. That's in nation building and challenges to Indian democracy in caste-based inequality. Number 10. Reservation of seats, Lok Sabha and State Legislative Assembly. That's in Article 330 and 332. Number 2. Legislative provisions. So these legislative provisions include the Protection of Civil Rights Acts of 1955, Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes, that is Prevention of Atrocities Acts of 1989, and Machinery for the Protection of Dalit Tribes. So number 1. The Protection of Civil Rights Act of 1955. Previously, this right, or it was called the Untouchability Offences Act. In 1976, it was amended or changed as Civil Rights Acts. So it declares or it includes denial of admission to any person to any public institution, worshipping or praying in any place of public worship, insulting a member of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe on the ground of untouchability, preaching untouchability directly or indirectly, justifying untouchability on historical, philosophical, or religious ground, or on the ground of tradition caste in an offense. Number 2. Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Acts of 1989. The atrocities or cruelties on Dalits are liable for penalties under Section 21 of the Act, which reads as legal aid to the victim of atrocities, economic and social rehabilitation of victims. Next, appointing officers to initiate actions for speedy disposal of cases. Special courts are set up and public prosecutors are appointed to go into the details. Hence, this act is popularly called as Dalit Act. Number 3. Machinery for Protection of Dalit Acts. The affected Dalits can seek the remedy from Judiciary, National Human Rights Commission and State Human Rights Commission. Dalit women whose rights are denied can also approach the National and State level Women Commission. Apart from these, there are 2 other constitutional bodies, the National Commission for Scheduled Castes and the National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, which have powers to safeguard the rights of Dalits.